we will see in our first map. Map 2 will be Clarion, and map 3, if needed, will go to Demon Deus. As we load in here, we'll see the strikers load in. The things I want to call out first is that the highest priority picks here were Era for... Wait, am I looking at the right one? Yes, I am looking at the right one. Yeah, Era for Jay, and the Juno picked here for Twee as well.
I won't kill right off the bat, but the Era, as you were just talking about, was just buffed in the most recent patch. Her primary comes out so much faster than it used to. One of the things that was most critiqued about the character in patches before this, so we'll see how much that impacts her today, but a lot of damage is coming out, but no barriers yet. As I said, that it's a barrier.
Good old Caster's Curse. We are so back for another season of the leagues. Love to see that as this one continues here. And of course, right, I imagine with the midfielders going first in terms of priority, their presence on the map is going to be incredibly important here in general. I also imagine that for the Diversified Resume squad, they'll probably be looking for a little bit more of the damage focus as the composition overall. Bertram, nice hold away from this barrier, able to just fend off everything, holding the line incredibly well on the mascot for their team.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think both teams like the damage a lot, because anytime you see heavy impact start, you're probably going to get a damage start. Here, as finally a second barrier comes down, but this is looking more like Oni Village than Atlas Lab right now.
But somebody just score already. Come on. Get on with it. Dave, though, in here on the Supernova. That will put Bertram between a rock and a hard place, and the barrier will fall. Energy burst out from Jay, down to just Logan. Doesn't quite find it. Now the gravity well is going to get popped. Logan has to be incredibly careful for now, but no, Dave comes up just shy and guarding away this energy barrier. Wallaby can't find the strike into the net, tries to play the mind game, but Jay snags it away. And now we'll be looking into the Maelstrom. Logan up back to the Storm, but can't find it there. As the Expanse comes out of Bertram, finding the clear. Another pass up. Dave in position, warping in, but can't quite find it. And oh no, sticks around just too long. And that's how the first goal of the game goes in.
That's even more fun because Dave got strike ward by his own teammates. I think he just mistimed the strike, but you know, great to see it, and didn't have the eject button to get back.
Of course, it's opening day. Nerves for
Exactly.
any roster, right, coming together and playing the first day of a long season ahead where regardless of what happens today, you'll have another 8 weeks that you've got to sit down and work with the same roster. Be looking to do just that now as the Diversified Resume finds a KO. Looks like actually going to be able to fend this off for now. Trying to shove this one through the corner as the Blavos come down from Twee, but it's not enough as Jay's now back online. Maelstrom back the other way. Can't find it just yet. Blavo is there, and now once again on the fancy footwork, Dave tries to make a play, but it doesn't work. Twee credited with another goal, and it's the Diversified Resume looking to go on a roll.
And General Twee rocking that Atlas Gardener emote. I guess the team emote almost for them right here. Just trying to, have a little trash talk with Dave. It looks like it's working. The mind games are working as Dave uses the corpse a little early.
Not able to find it there. Now Logan in the corner has an energy burst. Oni's blade comes out. Can't collect the core. Everything's in the corner here. The expanse, though, from Bertram used at the right time, just as the last defense. And you'll see the intervention come out as well. Finding that healing back up for the team as now they look to go on the offensive for this one. But oh no. It's now Bertram taken down by the Maelstrom from Jay. Twee has to leap back in an effort to try to hold the line here. Forwards in the net. Dave tries to look for the goal, and it might be forward to the net, but it's a goalie in the opponent's goal box, putting it away and putting the first goal on the board here for the Starburners.
Yeah, this is I believe she was buffed in the most recent patch, but honestly, it's looking more like just Dave's playing the character well than the character necessarily being super strong now, and really good job from Dave on the offensive side of the ball, and they got rewards for it.
Great reward here. Going to have to keep more careful track right of the Expanse. On a monumental start, it's going to be something to watch out for here. And Twee will just leap in and take care of it, regardless of whatever point I was trying to make. We're on to our first Awakenings carousel here, of course. Twee, all 3 goals in the bag, gets the pick of the litter here up first.
Yeah, the Stinger, Spec Training, and Deadeye, all things that the Vice actually wants. The Fight or Flight, huge pickup for the Era. Once one midfielder gets this Awakening, it usually, especially when they're both like speed type midfielders or midfielders that are like reliant on like actually striking the core a lot, can shift the matchup significantly. Interesting though that the Reptile Remedy is actually taken by Dave instead of like a traditional like Stinger or Spec Training or Deadeye. I guess trying to deny the extended healing that they already have from the Atlas, just to maybe have a better shot at evening up the kill game somewhat.
I think that was a draft of almost all denials. I don't think anyone took anything only because it's good for them. I mean, yeah, the fight or flight, right? But like, other than that, right? Like everything else afterwards is like, oh no, don't want that to go to the other team. And so you find something here towards the end. I mean, just Logan will pick up Stinger here. And I guess if you're looking at anything with the cumulative damage, Starbreakers comes away with something they like, denying away healing Awakening, along with adding the Stinger for Logan. Not going to be enough, though, to prevent the goal barriers from falling up first. And now Jay continues to get knocked around here. The Supernova is out, waiting for the right time. It finds a great angle. And now here's the Oni's Blade. It's out from Logan, and the Team Blade comes through now for the Starbreakers.
Yeah, really nice job from Starbreakers taking a point back here after suffering in the first set here. But, as you said, really good team play from them, especially because Dave is able to push out, almost dies there to the Blobbo, honestly. I'm surprised. Blobby got the kill, so at least someone dies.
Power play active, nonetheless. Here for the Diversified resume. Looking for this bottom barrier now. Wallaby was in the cloak. Pops out not quite at the most opportune time. All of the same. And seeing a little bit more of a spread here. Momentum has stopped for the Diversified resume, although they are whittling down the energy levels of their opponents quite significantly here. We're going to see some energy bursts come online for the Atlas squad in a moment. And now another power play as Jay is taken off the pitch once again. Twee on the dribble, down to Wallaby, who just takes it himself and splits between Logan and Dave. Another one on the board here.
Yeah, one of the picks have been really advertising the last 2 patches. Just the car. His shotgun comes out so fast, but like especially with Awakenings, like heavy impacts back in the pool, you get a lot of like burst.
Wallaby!
Wallaby just takes the goal right away by himself. As I was saying that.
My goodness. Just tired of it. Not wanting to stand on ceremony anymore and getting right down to business. Another goal on the board here, and once again puts the Diversified resume on set point. We'll see whether or not they can pull it through here, although as I mentioned earlier, it might be an opportunity for the energy meters to start coming back online. But no, as I say that, once again, Jay taken off of the pitch. It'll be another power play opportunity. There's the lock and mode you were just talking about from Wallaby. The energy burst comes out of Logan defensively. Not what you want to see out of your brawler here. As desperation to keep the goal out. But Jay comes back online, has this Maelstrom at the ready, reads the clear, and all of a sudden it's anyone's set.
I don't even think it's necessarily reading the clear. Bertram just didn't have many options. He could either die to Logan by striking it back to Logan over and over again, or die to Jay Maelstrom. He chose to hopefully get it through her Maelstrom, and it just didn't work out.
All right, covering the clear, maybe not reading.
Yeah, you're not wrong entirely.
Nonetheless, forgive my choice of words for not always being spot on when I get excited about Omega Strikers, the hit game developed by Odyssey Interactive that just had a new patch that JSOP really wants you to know about.
Yeah, well.
Come back and play the game or something.
Exactly. Well, nice job from Wallaby. Gangsta was able to get a lot of value out of that prime, and almost kills Jay there with the combo. That's what I'm talking about. It's almost like you're playing Juliet you can just find these edge kills so easily.
Edge kills they've been over the course of the game so far. There's another lock and load out of Wallaby as Twee comes in on the Blubbo bounce. Play doesn't work out this time. Expanse is burned out of Bertram, and now the Supernova does find a connection to Wallaby. Core goes up to the top side. Nobody's there for the Starbreakers, though. They can't find the breakaway play. Twee, in response, exchanges energy burst on the play, keeping the Core on the blue side of the pitch, and no momentum developed for the offensive side of the Starbreakers here. And there is a beautiful shot of the Molten Bolt that puts the Core away right as it comes out of the corner. It's the Diversified Resume up 2-0.
Yeah, one thing that Yukar has over other brawlers is this like a range essentially. A lot of brawlers do not have the ability to, you know, strike cross clears, but Yukar does and was able to punish right there. Extra special coming out with spec training and heavy impact. So a lot of Purse is about to come out with the Ricard here. Team player though back in the pool, and Dave picking it up to help with the clears, which is going to be nice to see. And a heavy impact is another thing to note from this Zentaro. If he can get it going, it might be what they need to turn the tides in their favor.
One thing I was looking at here, Twee taking among Titans. I suppose it's for the speed or the Juno. Who's trying to cover more, but
If you know anything about Twee, that's probably his favorite way to the entire game.
okay, well,
he takes it no matter what.
yeah, but it's like Drakar's your brawler. The Drakar doesn't really want the size.
Yukar like makes it.
I mean, any character likes the size.
It
Right?
makes his shotgun melee part hit like have a be larger, so it's actually easier to hit. Something to know.
Close, it's
And
fair.
by definition, it makes your range on it larger too, just the melee.
Right.
Yeah. The new Yukar tips with Opplug here.
Yeah. Who knew that the brawler player would give trips and what am I saying? Tricks and tips with the brawler strikers. Yeah, all right. The brain's not working. It's
all good. Well, a lot of damage
all
going on.
good.
Dave thankfully has that reptile remedy, so it shouldn't be too worse for wear. But they're just not able to get through this. Atlas says Atlas is the one who puts it in. As I say that.
You know, it was in the first set, Twee stepped up, scoring all 3 goals. In the second set, I think Wallaby scored all 3 goals, or at least had a very memorable one. So now in this set, I think it's Bertram's turn to get all 3.
If Bertram has to score all the goals, they're not going to win the set. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Well, what do you mean? He's playing the main character.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he is playing the Atlas of the resume.
Yeah. Does have the energy burst here as well, although Starbreakers closing in on the goal. Can't find it, as it will get away from Logan. Maybe another opportunity here, especially as the Maelstrom comes out. Logan just walks in along with it and equalizes the set.
It says defend that. It's a little bit difficult. In fact, if anything, I think Bertram's secondary made it more difficult to defend because it lowered their options to clear it away from the Maelstrom. So good punish on the Atlas secondary there from that Maelstrom.
Energy bursts online here. Twee, Bertram, and Dave all have them at their disposal. Now Wallaby has it as well, so the Diversified Resume also has Diversified Energy Burst. Supernova already burned here from Dave. There is Thunderstruck as well, and it's not going to be enough to get this Core away from the goal barrier, and the pressure is mounted. Twee and Wallaby both teaming up there. It is game point now for the Diversified Resume.
Yeah, really nice job. Wallaby realizing, I mean, I don't think it was realized the spot, but both players on Starbreakers were, used their strike instead of trying to like buffer their strikes, which meant that Wallaby was able to strike it into the area with 2 people who had no strikes and free goal. Good recognition on Wallaby there.
Logan taken down. Very low stagger early in this one, and now gets comboed into the gravity well. Power play opportunity here for the Diversified Resume to put away the game right here, right now. Davis burned out many of the cooldowns at this point. There's the power cord as well, and Twee with so much speed is able to cover all options. Molten Bolt does not connect with the core this time to put it away, and now there's some offense on the other side of the pitch. Dave is there with the Thunderstruck. Here is the eye rush. Doesn't come up with a core, and now Wallaby on the punish takes out the Zentaro. Incredibly low on stagger. Power play opportunity here. Can't quite find the momentum. Blavos now are down. And the Supernova burned on the defensive side here for Dave. Bertram uses the energy burst. Have to be careful as the score now picks up quite a bit of speed going around the world. There's the Maelstrom, though. Catches Bertram off. And Wallaby sends a core down. Dave will clear it away. Twee is back, has plenty of speed here. Logan trying to play the mind game, sends it up to the top corner. Jay is there on the rebound. Set point for anyone here.
I just want to point out those Jay dribbles with the Era primary. Those don't happen on the previous match. This only happens because of the reduced cast time on the Era primary, which lets you be able to use it as a dribble tool as you would with like a Now primary or a Kai primary. You can now use the Era primary as well. Like, that was kind of cool.
Very good use of the new tools.
Definitely creative for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Especially in that corner play when enough chaos is happening. Throw in chaos of the interaction that you don't know how it's going to play out because it's completely new. And now another punish comes through. The Zentaro taken down once again. And now Dave will lose the last goal barrier here. Diversified resume, 1 goal away. Passing play, trying to get everyone involved. Twee leaps in, now knocking Dave around, lose track of the core, and it'll go into the net. It's a 3-0 game 1 here for the Diversified resume.
Now it was 3-0, but I think that's 3-2. Maybe one of them was in the 3-2, but I mean, if the series is like that, I could see the series still going either way. So, a hard fought 3-0, as they say, but a 3-0 nonetheless. So, if you look at the statistics here, honestly, the damage wasn't like particularly lopsided, but the KOs were right, like 7 KOs on Wallaby Gangsta. And the entire enemy team doesn't even have 7 KOs, right? So, it's something to keep in note that this Diversified resume team didn't actually really need the damage as much to find these KOs.
It wasn't really about the damage, right? It was just about decent positioning and able to have enough of, especially the higher impact abilities with the heavy impact start that allows you to just delete a player off the map very quickly when they happen to get a little bit too close to the edge.
All this going to be playing the Asher. Just really surprised about it. But there is the Juno 1-2 punch on Jay. It's one of Jay's most comfortable picks. Was picked away from her last game. So we'll see if she is able to make use of it. In fact, I think all 3 members are basically on the characters they're probably most comfortable, or at least most well known for the status Starbreaker. So we'll see if they can get back this game.
Gotta feel, right? You're on a map that you're comfortable on, strikers that you're more comfortable on. It's opening day, but hopefully some of those other things will help calm those nerves just a little bit, especially when you're going up people that are generally veterans of competitive Mega Strikers. Wallaby's been playing the game since beta. Twee's been around for ages upon ages.
This Wallaby gangster guy needs to go to retirement home soon. He's getting old,
As you.
Yeah, and whoa, all of a sudden the Bears are taking it and goals scored. I mean, maybe he's not old enough yet. He has a few more years left.
Yeah, right. As we all know, video games become impossible to play when you hit the old age of 30.
Honestly, the right old age of 23 is probably enough for video gamers. This is not like traditional sports where you can play till 30 and you're still in your prime.
Well, let's be clear. I'm not even saying they have to be in their prime,
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Wallaby almost did that, right? Though.
Yeah. See, look, little bit faster reaction time. No, I kid. It's a meme. All right, enough fooling around, folks. This is supposed to be real, serious business. As Wallaby sets one up and puts it away with the core flip. Good pass up.
Yep, really nice job, Dave. I mean, even if Dave is a robot, I'm not sure how the robot's supposed to react to that core flip. Just kind of, the only way you're getting it is if you just strike immediately on the second it goes out. And Barrier's gonna go down, but I kind of feel like you're down to just give up a 1 barrier on most maps, this map included. So it doesn't really matter that much as long as they don't get to keep the offense, and that's kind of what Atlas' Diversified resume has been playing for this series so far.
The other thing too, right, is with Logan on basically no stagger at this point, there's not going to be a lot of momentum or a lot of primary threats that you're going to be worried about if you're Bertram, right? With Logan not really being able to be in much of any position because you're just going to get bullied around, and you have the potential of going into the Obscura goo, right? There's another possibility there, but nonetheless, barrier will fall. Jay almost lines up a 1-2 punch shot Bertram was ready for at that time. Logan will begin healing. The Death Touch comes out, but it'll only pull Twee. Now here's the big finish, but the core will get knocked away from the pass splitter of Wallaby Gangsta. Overtime now, as the core speed will continue to increase, especially in a 1-2 punch start, even though it's the first set. I'd not be surprised to see an errant goal or errant shot find its mark and go past the reaction time of some of our goalies here today.
I feel like anytime you have a 1-2 punch in a game, there's gonna be a lot of reactions to tests whether you like it or not, because these core, speeding up awakenings make it so the core goes red even when you're not in overtime, and then when you get to overtime, it's gonna be a different beast altogether. But really nice score from Atlas Diversified resume. Just the score before the Juno can start to get online with those red core 1-2 punch lobos.
Another pretty dominant first set from General Twee. Pick of the litter here. Cast Alaskas online. Light is right there.
I think Butterfly is going to be promo for the entire series. We'll see though. Not picking anything yet. Maybe trying to get Ash or something guaranteed, maybe. Or maybe just deciding between Repel or Revenue or not. It looks like Butterfly, though, is just more important. The Spark for Juno. So, with Juno 1-2 punch and Spark of Strength, you can do some crazy things, especially if you like 2 sparks with Spark of Strength. So it's good to always start early with Jay. And then Logan is another one to look out for because Atlas ult, not Atlas, Rasmus, Death Touch, I think it's called. The ult can, even though it's not like enemies up, you can still kill from pretty crazy ranges on the edge. So that's something to always keep in mind whenever you see that in draft. When Erasmus picks it, even if it's not app, you still have to be careful of that.
The other thing, though, too, here is you're noticing, Wallaby getting very close to the edge, but is not phased either, because even if there's a 1-2 punch, right, what's the Rasmus going to do with a 1-2 punch situation, right? Oh, you got your pendulum swing. Well, it's not going to actually knock me back very far at all. And Jay doesn't also have a lot of necessarily KOing tools, right? Would rather save the Blobo Fling for more of that core control and general presence on the map rather than going for a KO. So noticing a lot more play towards the edge here, especially as we're on the side streets corollary. Project Xeno Cloak. Overtime is hit. There's the core speed. We're continuing to escalate. Just Logan in position there. Looking for it again, but now is going to get jumped on by a little bit of damage and trying to just stay alive for now. 2-3 energy bursts actually online. Actually, almost every player in the lobby has their energy burst. Twee uses his, not going to be able to find the core, but the core does find the gold barrier nonetheless. And now finally the KO comes through as Logan finds it against Wallaby. Power play opportunity here. Jay and Dave both have the energy burst, but Twee doing a great job of disrupting the play, not letting any momentum happen. Logan in the corner, but the Tofu Fortress comes out. And no Blobo bounce committed here for Jay to go in on any given play.
Oh, another
one. Her time, and now, there we go. KO comes through once more. Twee taken off this time. Power play potentially here. Everything starts to come out. There's the energy burst, but it wasn't enough. Bertram finds the hold for now. Another Blobo down to the bottom side. Twee's back online, buying a little bit more space. Logan just doesn't quite have the tools to get it done, especially with Jay back on the midfield line for the Starbreakers. Logan now checks Bertram. Just could have been there, but it goes back the other way. Finds all 3 members of Atlas's diversified resume. Yeah. And the diversified play gets its way to the goal.
This is the air hockey you like to see, but you're talking about the death touch, it actually has a lot of lethal range when you have 1-2 punch and spec training, because if you hit someone with even like a random pendulum swing or a primary or secondary on Erasmus, a lot of times as long as you hit them within, I think it's 2.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds from 1-2 punch, with your ult, like it doesn't even have to be a combo or anything. As long as you hit them within that 1.5 second window of hitting them with anything else, you will get the increased knockback on your ult, and it already has the spec training, so that's a lot of knockback from the death touch.
Very true. I was just mostly commenting on the fact that, like, what, pendulum swing when somebody's standing towards the end, not going to be very helpful, right? And now if they're standing towards the middle, you hit them with an errant pendulum swing, then you can pull them back towards the edge. Yeah, sure, right? So I see that happening for sure. No. Tofu Fortress comes out, catches the core on the wrong side, and the goal gates are open on both sides of the pitch now as we hit overtime. Bertram in position to hold the corner. Hat Splitter comes out here. Twee sends a shot back up to Wallaby. Barely gets the redirect on the primary. The Diversified resume puts yet another one in.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I think that the Asher nerf in quotes. Yeah, it definitely was a nerf. But the decreased movement speed actually made it so Wallaby had lined up that primary perfectly when Wallaby was just going for the hit stun in the first place. And it ended up hitting a really nasty angle because of it. So it's just kind of funny to note that sometimes these types of nerfs can actually, 1 in 100 times debuffs. That was one of those.
They're just differences in a character's
exactly.
play style, and you have to learn how to adapt to said play style differences. But yeah, that's right. Positive mental attitude. Bertram, though, on the ice skates. There's the energy burst. Looking for it there. Blavo is out, and Dave will be able to use the energy burst to send the core away as Bertram will retreat. Dubu ice skates did not pan out for a party here today, but a KO comes through because now it is Jay taking down Twee. Looking forward here. Does have that bewitching beam, but the core possession is maintained. Bertram moves up so far forward. Nice big finish here. Comes out to check the barrier on the other side. Now, a little bit more caution, but even still, the Diversified resume is there. Twee off the post. Can't find it into the net just yet. The hold continues, but not for much longer. Wallaby is there. And the Diversified resume, once again, another pretty dominating set. This time around, Appa, they're able to find the executions when they have goal-scoring opportunities. And I think that's no small part thanks to these small little passing plays that are happening, the tight triangles they're maintaining, and the like.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note is because of how dominant they've been, the glass cannon momentum boost Dubu with the skates is actually able to move up and maintain those triangles, as you said, and even move up for potential core flips, which means that there's just permanently a lot more pressure on Starbreakers. Even if they are, playing the same game, it's almost like they have to execute at twice the efficiency as their opponents just because of how many more attempts that are coming down in the last few points due to their just really smart positioning.
Gonna have to be incredibly careful here. Dave now down on both goal barriers, able to send it up the top side, but there's Bertram again, the flying Dubu in position, almost jump scare, but the goal doesn't go in just yet. Misdirection comes out. Twee is all over the map. That's the other thing too. Twee on this era, right, has been all over the place. Glass Cannon picked up for a midfielder, plus the fighter flight, now plus stacks on stacks in this one, is able to both be forward and backward, retreat and transition between the two of those that much faster. And it's no small part of the reason why speed is king in Omega Strikers, why these triangles and passing plays continue to be so strong for the Diversified resume, and why it's difficult for the Starbreakers to get much of anything done.
Yep, and Jay realizing that she was dangerously close to the edge against the 1-2 punch Asher, and he's able to evade it out, but they're able to get both barriers there. It's the first time in quite some time, but it doesn't matter if they can't get it out. They have to create another offense at least to even have a chance of scoring here. And really nice job from General Twee and Bertram to keep it on the side permanently of the Starbreakers.
Gonna be looking for a goal here again. Now off the expanse. It was checked, but doesn't go in. power play opportunity, though, as Tweez take it off the pitch. The Blobbo comes up just shy. Logan back up to the top corner. Slight miscommunication, though, as Jay's on the retreat. Logan looks for something here on the pendulum swing, but it's sent away once more, and now Tweez back online with the speed to go right back up to the other side of the pitch. Everything gets flown to the core despite Dave's energy burst going out. And now Logan, actually looking for a play, makes it off the expanse. The whiplash and the pendulum swing combined. And finally, something goes in here for the Starbreakers, snapping a drought.
Something you have to know is General Tweet dying means all stacks are gone. So if Starbreakers is going to have an opportunity to win a set, this is going to be the one right here. They're going to need to capitalize on this time without the full movement speed of the Era. And maybe even chain a kill to try to reset that timer. If Era has fight or flight, glass cannon, stacks on stack, it's going to be a tough game for Starbreakers.
Certainly will be a tough one here, as it really has been so far for them. Looking for any kind of momentum, but even still, the Diversified resume continues to be oppressive. Doesn't quite find the core on that specific play. That goes slightly wide, but now Wallaby in trouble. Doesn't matter because there's the Bewitching Beam, newly buffed, woo, to put it away. And we are on match point now for Atlas's Diversified resume.
Yeah, newly buffed makes it a lot harder to just time that strike properly. You don't have as much time to recognize what the play is. You have to just react better. And it wasn't going to happen there, especially with the 1-2 punch, increasing the core speed even more. Really nice job as...
Wow.
This is probably my least comfortable, I guess, version of Varion for a match point to be on, because sometimes you can just get, really unlucky with the bounces. So let's hope for Starbreakers that's not one of these games where that just happens and you lose without much of a chance to come back.
Project Beat Drop, colloquially known as the Bounce House, has actually provided a rather neutral experience for at this point. Other thing that's worth noting, of course, in the last one that I just saw, that we haven't had the chance to call out much yet at all, is finally a Dash Awakening for this Juno. It's aerials picked up in the last draft that might allow for some more creativity out of Jay's Juno, as we see it there come through, finds one barrier, at least checks it for Bertram. Now, though, looking to maintain core possession here. General Twee versus just Logan. Jay is in position. The Whiplash doesn't quite have enough speed to follow up the core in its accelerated state in overtime. Nice save away from Dave on that shot from Wallaby. Digging this one out and keeping it alive for now. But oh no, the goal gates will start retracting. The misdirection comes out here. The strike ward away from General Twee. Jay flying in on the Blobbo bounce. Not enough there. And now the Blobbo comes in. But Wallaby's credited with the goal. ADR, Atlas's Diversified resume, a statement in their opening game of NASA Season 6.
Yeah, Blobbo's good, and Blobbo's taking it. Actually, we were talking about awakenings that make a big difference. I think actually in that last set, Wallaby gained his size. Or I think maybe not in the previous set, but that size made it so those dashes that were previously not hitting, those predictions were actually starting to hit. And it was starting to really add up. And a lot of barriers and goals were just starting to be scored off of just really intelligent reads from Wallaby game stuff. So really nice job from all three members. Bertram holding it down and able to apply that offensive pressure. General Tweet just super consistent in every single midfield interaction. And Wallaby games just reading, Dave like a book in some of those spots. Was able to consistently score, and another 3-0. This one was a lot cleaner.
Tan